Welcome to Leapcast. I'm your host, Dr. George James. Leap stands for leaders, entertainers, athletes, and performers. And I'm on a journey to connect with high achievers and highlight their unexamined human moments. Tune in to learn how these high-achieving Leap individuals were able to reach their greatest potential, face their most difficult challenges, and embrace the human moments that helped them along the way. If you want to get the episode highlights directly in your email, then head to theleapcast.com right now to subscribe. Welcome, everybody. Once again, my name is Dr. George James, and this is Leapcast, where we talk to leaders, entertainers, athletes, and performers. And I get the honor and privilege of bringing on a great friend. He and I have known each other for a number of years, and we'll probably use this time to catch up and just talk. Hopefully you all are having a great time wherever you are, whatever you're doing. There's some things I'll talk about at the end that I've been working on. I have a new talk I've been doing called I Give Myself Permission. That's been going real well. Also, I have some resources for couples. All those things I'll share near the end. But right now, let me bring on my good friend, Nakia Dillard, who is an amazing, amazing actor. And a little quick shout out, when I was entering the acting game in the Philadelphia area, I was studying Nakia. Whatever he did, wherever he was, I was like, all right, what I need to do? Because he just always was making the right steps. So without further ado, Nakia, thanks for joining me. How are you doing today?
Thank you so much, good brother. I'm doing great.
All right.
Thanks for having me, man.
Well, look, I'm glad that you're here, and I want to get into what we talk about is called what we start off is called our Leap story, which is really just trying to learn more about like your journey, how you started, when you started. And so if you don't mind, sure, like how did you get into performing, acting, being a creative? Where did that all start for you?
Well, it all started, I would say when I started acting I started acting class at age 14. Okay. And I was extremely shy, man. So, for a kid like that wanted to act, it was hard. It was a struggle only because I had to find my voice because it was hard for me to talk around people. Then I had to find my self-esteem because just standing up in front of people and talking was a struggle for me. But I think without it, I don't know where I would be today. Okay. Like it just showed me so much how to walk in someone else's shoes without having to actually live in their shoes. And it taught me empathy. But from age 14 up, my first play I did when I was 16, first paid play, and then, but I did a lot of theater. And then it just introduced me to a lot of people that was working. It as a kid, I got a chance to work with professionals like Brian Anthony Wilson, Elvis Nolasco, just people that was working consistently in the industry. Joylette Harris, Lenny Daniels. There was so many people I could name. But it just was it just was inspiring, to see these working actors and just seeing that they're actually living as actors in Philadelphia, So I just kind of pulled the bug and just kept going. I'm not going to say it was all easy because it's all, it's every people say, well, what's your best film or best play? It's the next one.
Yeah, right.
It's the one that's coming up.
Exactly. And that makes complete sense. And, I know a little bit about your journey, which we'll get into, but I'm really curious when you say about you were a shy kid and, it allowed you to step into someone else's shoes without being in that. Can you talk about what it means for you or what it meant for you at 14 to learn how to, I guess, gain confidence or self-esteem? Like, what was that like for you?
It was tough, man. Only because that was a whole new world for me. Like, I'm an only child. So I didn't have like brothers. I didn't have anybody to bounce off or anything. So when it was time for me to, wanted to, talk or do something, a lot of times I would do it in drawing. So I
Okay.
drew a lot.
Okay.
I used to draw, man, Bugs Bunny, Popeye the Sailor Man. That was my thing back in the day, you
Nice.
know. But that was my world. Like art was my world. Like far as like I could express myself on paper, you know, drawing and stuff like that. But then watching TV kind of inspired me to try that. You know, try like, you know, I was just like, I don't know how I'm going to do it. I don't know the how,
Hmm.
but I want to do that.
Wow.
You know, and I told my mother a few times. She was like, okay, if my kid asks me if he asks me again, I'll look into it. Cause she was a single mother and didn't want to put out any extra money that she didn't have to. You know what I mean?
Right.
'Cause
So
times
you
is
got to
hard.
ask at least 3 times before
Yeah,
like.
at least three. I think I was on my fourth time. She was like, all right, now, come on now.
All right. I guess you're serious.
We'll give me the phone. Give me the phone. Call these people.
That's awesome.
But yeah, man. It was tough, you know, walking into. First off, I had to do an audition. I never did an audition before,
Okay.
so I had to like learn a monologue and didn't know what that was. So I had it all down pat in my head. But when I got to the audition, when
Totally
I got in
different.
front of them, it was gone. It was like, so again, like if I don't know if my mother was standing behind me, flashing dollars, whatever it was that got me in the door. But that literally changed my life, man.
Wow.
Like I
No.
tell people all the time, like if I never took an acting class or never got into that, I don't know where I would be today.
Yeah.
Like just even if I never was an actor, just my self-esteem that I learned, empathy that I learned, um, you know, just being able to understand like the psychology of how that person thinks,
Yeah.
you know, and it's like a mirror. Like you get a chance as an actor to hold the mirror up to the audience and show them themselves. So then they could say, wow, is that how I act?
Hmm.
Is that me up there?
Hmm.
Or, you know, I could wild out and shoot up somebody or do whatever, you know. But then after it's over, they say cut. We all get up, go to
Right.
lunch,
Keep moving.
and keep on
No,
moving.
I really like that in terms of like just it sounds like it just allowed you to grow as a person in so many ways,
Yeah.
and even
Mhm.
in my experiences, from learning, from going to classes, even what I do now as a
Mhm.
therapist and the media work I do, I
Mhm.
always say is directly related to those on-camera classes I took. Right, I got real comfortable with the camera. I got real comfortable with being myself in a certain way or knowing how to come across because of those classes. But you
Mhm.
say something that's really interesting. That audition moment. I know so many people, not just actors, but musicians, even
Mhm.
like athletes, right? Have those moments where they have to audition, try out, do something,
Right.
and the moment where the lights are bright and it can just feel so overwhelming.
Yeah.
And maybe at 14 or 16, if you can remember what that was like, or even now, like how do you handle those moments where the lights are bright and you got to go and show up?
Oh man, it's still it's still scary for me. You know, I'm not gonna. I mean, as many films and projects that I've done, I still get that butterfly, you know, nervousness. You know, like, but now I can use that energy
Yeah.
for fuel, whereas it was just a block. You
Mm.
know, it's like, oh man, I gotta. You know, like I remember the first time I was on stage, and you know, just seeing the audience out there, just seeing, and when you do theater, everybody's counting on you as a team. It's a team up there.
Yeah.
So it's not just you. So if you don't say your line or your word, or it's someone else's cue
Yeah.
to come on or do what they have to do. And so a few times of that, you know, just getting nervous and just breaking through. And you know, some people call different things that you do failure, but I don't really believe in failure in a way because it's all lessons that'll make you better, make you stronger. So you have to go through that in order to know what that feels like. and you're constantly fighting against that feeling. So I call it lessons,
Mm.
you know. And then even if I do feel like, oh man, I messed up in that audition, I still congratulate myself for even going, for even trying. Um, because that's an effort. That's an effort that, that you did, that um, you put yourself through, you conquered it, however you got through it. The thing is you got through it,
Yeah.
you know. And I always say, once I do an audition, I just leave it in God's hands. Whatever is supposed to happen is going to happen. But at least I put my hat in the ring. I can't live in the world of coulda, woulda, shoulda. Like, oh man, I should have did that audition. I could have. I just go ahead and do it. I just go ahead and knock it out. And whatever happens after that is what is supposed to happen. My name is written on it already. It's gonna be mine.
No, I
Ain't no
love that.
denying.
I love that. And
Thanks, man.
I remember I was not like that. I remember going to auditions and I'm like, man, I messed that up. And it would take me a minute to get through my head of like what I could have done or should have done, right?
Yeah,
And
I go through that.
right,
I go through that. Like sometimes, but then I have to break that, and I
right,
just got to say whatever happened in there is just what was supposed to happen.
exactly.
And you never know, man. Sometimes you may come in there and do your thing, and they may say, you know what, I like the fact that he kept going. I like his energy. He didn't just give up, and we're gonna give him a try. We're gonna give him a
Yeah,
shot
yeah,
because a lot of times they know if they want you or not when you walk in the room. Before you even open your mouth. And then once you open your mouth, then they're like, all right, cool, we can work with this guy. Or this guy blew us away. Or maybe I'll hold on to his headshot for another situation that we may have. But you just never know what they're thinking. Never know. Um,
which is the beauty of the craft. And
mhm,
shout out to all those who are going on auditions now or who have been there, whether as an
mhm,
actor or a musician or an athlete. I really appreciate what you said. Like, you got to give yourself credit for just showing up, right? Like,
yeah, you gotta
right,
show
just
up, man.
there's so many people who don't show up or are
So
still
true.
in the thought process of like, can I do this, should I do
Hmm.
this, and you're just
Hmm.
showing up. And
That's
look,
it.
I know you've been in those rooms because I've been in the rooms with you where you walk in and you see a bunch of people who look like you, like
Look just like twins, man.
right, like look like you, same color
Like, damn, is
shirt,
that me?
right. It's like, hey, why is there like 15 of me in this room? I remember those roles. They're looking for like a 20 to 35-year-old black man, like, father figure. And I'm like, hey, it's all these people looking the same.
Got the same jacket on, same
Right.
everything. Like,
Did we all
dang.
shop the same spot? So I'm wondering for you, like, how have you handled those moments when you walked into an audition and you know what they're looking for because you see it in the room, but yet you still have
Mhm.
to stand out?
Well, what I used to do, I used to like sit near the door so I could hear what they're doing in there, and then try to like, like, all right, I ain't gonna do it like that, you know,
No. Oh, that
you
that
know.
went
But
way
then
too
I was
far.
like, but now in the world, we're in the world of self tape.
Yeah.
You can't, you just gotta trust your instincts now,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, talk about that. Like, I know from some friends who have done some self tapes. I know some families who have had to submit some self tapes. Uh, and I'm assuming that started before COVID, but probably went really
Hmm.
faster, bigger with COVID. What was that like for you? The transition of like going in to do auditions to self tapes.
Actually, well, now just the fact that you don't have to go anywhere. If you have your own studio situated up, you can just go there and knock it out. Sometimes I may do auditions late at night, 3 in the morning. Sometimes it depends on the vibe, but I do miss going into the room. Like one of my last auditions right before COVID was Power Book 2, Ghost.
Okay.
And I actually booked it.
Oh.
But it was the day I was supposed to shoot, the world shut down. March 13th. I know the date and everything.
Yeah, I remember that day too.
Yeah, man. Shut the world down. and and but then they weren't bringing people in and out of the state, so they just hired someone up in New York and
So they had
knocked
to
it out.
so they had to cancel and rebook somebody else or book
Yeah,
somebody else.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah. So I mean, hey, man,
How did you handle
mm,
that moment? Because like, for me, whenever anything, right, but definitely like as an actor or performer, or even now, if I getting media opportunities to be a therapist, like I do get excited, and like to be able to be there and to support people,
mhm.
and if it gets canceled, like there's a part of me that's let down.
Oh
And
yeah,
so how
I
did you
was
handle that moment, March 13th,
yeah,
2020?
March 13th, man. Yeah, I was hurt, bro. I was like that. Like I was excited, because I really enjoyed the shows
Yeah.
and you know, but I
Great
was hurt.
characters, right? Like they get to
Yeah,
play interesting, great characters. And
yeah. But I was hurt by it. Like it took me a few days to kind of shake it off. Like dang, and but you just gotta understand that what is for you is for you. It's not the like we live in an abundance. You know, grass don't never stop growing.
mm,
Trees, leaves do what they do. Nature. So it took a little bit. I shook it off and just kept on moving. Kept on auditioning, reading positive quotes, and
nice.
just trying to stay positive, man, because you could easily sink into something else and just kind of be against the industry. You could turn against the industry and like, man, whatever. But you know, it happens. But then, later on, I just got a role working on BMF. So now I'm working on this show. So
Oh,
it
say
it
what is
wasn't.
BMF? What is that?
It's called Black Mafia Family. It's on
Oh,
Stars. It's
okay.
another 50 Cent show.
Okay.
Yeah. So now I'm on it. I still got a chance to work with brother.
Wow.
So
Do you think
so again,
that was because they saw you before, or you just auditioned for
I,
someone totally different?
I
Right.
it was some
That's what I think.
it was a whole complete different character. And
Okay.
I don't know. And again, you never know. I mean, it could have been from that. Like, okay, if this dude came back in, I remember he booked on this show. Well, let's put him in this show. You never know.
Wow.
Or they may have forgot. Or it could be a whole new team. They just like
Right.
my audition and say, you know what, let's get this
Right.
guy.
You're like, I'm in. Either way, right?
I'm in there. You know what I'm saying? So whatever happens next, I'm already in there.
I love that. And so I want to go back, right? 14, 16, 14 to 16, you really got the acting classes, you got the bug, you got your first paid like play. How did you start to build on your craft from like 16 on? Like what did you do?
Well, at the time, it was a book that would come out. It was called what was it? The Ross Report. It was it was a theater book that we had here. It was like a pamphlet that you would pick up at theaters, and so I would comb that thing literally, man, and send my headshots and constantly just be on it. Like I used to go to Barnes and Nobles and just sit through. I used to sit in there for hours, man, just reading acting books.
Mm.
Um, I would read Backstage. Um, yeah, a bunch of different stuff, and I just would apply. I would make notes or I'll buy the newspaper, depending on like what my schedule was. But every week I was there
Wow.
doing something, and I just constantly just stayed hitting the streets like hard. Um, I would network. I would go to networking events. I would just constantly just kind of keep my name in people's face because this was before the internet. Well, not the internet, but it was before like all of this social media stuff. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
So you kind of
Instagram
had to.
wasn't popping yet.
Yeah, Instagram wasn't popping. Facebook wasn't popping. I think it was before MySpace and all of that.
Right.
You
Right.
know,
All the way back.
all the way back, man. So I was literally hitting up. I would go to plays.
Hmm.
I would talk to the people. I would get their schedule and see what shows were coming up, let them know about if it's a open call. Literally, man, I was hitting it hard, man. Like
Where did you
17, 18.
where did you get that work ethic at 17, 18 to it just sounded like you were a hard worker and hungry. Like how did
Yeah.
you like figure that out?
I think reading, like just reading different books. Like I read Rich Dad Poor Dad. I read The Secrets of the Millionaire Mind and how to kind of form a business. So I don't know where this. I mean, like my mother was an entrepreneur, so she always stayed in the stuff doing, creating all the time. So that kind of rubbed off on me, and I still have this hunger where I'm always thinking of something to do, something to create, or I don't know. I don't even know how to turn it off.
Yeah, look, I
you
get it.
know.
I know that feeling. Look, I mean, sometimes I try to, blame it on my Jamaican background, but I think it's just a part of who I am.
I
I
might
think
be Jamaican.
you're right. Hey, we
I
might be
got 20
cousins.
jobs, man.
Right, exactly. There's always look. I'm doing a podcast now. I mean, like a year and a half ago, I wasn't doing that. Right, like there's always something else, just like adding something. So I totally get that. But when you say your mom was creative, like what did she do? Like how was she creative?
She had businesses. She used to have a video store.
Nice.
Um, so yeah, man, like before or around the time when Blockbuster Video was out, what was West something Hollywood something West Coast Video?
Oh yeah.
Man, we had all that stuff. Man, man we had a whole store, you know.
Nice.
So I'm working in the store. So yeah, man, it just kind of like even as a kid, I made comic books too.
Wow.
I used to make comic books. Man, I used to make pies and sell pies.
Look, there's something
Make lasagna,
I totally
manicotti, man. I tear
look.
some
Hey,
manicotti up.
I totally believe there's something about having something in your mind and then being able to like make it happen, right? Like,
Yeah.
having an image or a dream or a product
Mhm.
and then being able to like actually like follow through with it. Like,
Right. Yeah. It's
that's
something
incredible.
about that, man.
Yeah.
Just seeing things like, from your mind to the realness, like just having it as a tangible thing. Say I did that
Yeah.
or I created that. It's something about that, man.
I think it's such a powerful thing, and it sounds like that was a part of you. It's funny you say video store, like that was one of my dad. That was one of the things that he would do way back in the Blockbuster age. He tried to create his own video store in Jamaica, so I totally hear
Oh,
that. Right?
word. Okay.
Yeah,
Nice.
he was trying to help bring the new and released movies to folks, and so I totally get that in terms of like trying to be creative, trying to figure out that next move. And it sounds like,
Mhm.
acting and performing and drawing and just being creative has been
Yeah,
your
just
thing.
creative. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I know that you did some work and studied and played and was in plays at Freedom Theater. And I'm not
Hmm.
originally from the Philadelphia area, but when I came into the Philadelphia area, I learned about Freedom Theater, and it was just the rich history.
Yeah.
And it's like one of those things that is just so amazing, and it's so unfortunate that it wasn't able to continue or thrive at the level that it probably should have. But I guess
Yeah.
share a little bit about that experience for you being at Freedom Theater, and how did that help you in your craft and career?
It totally, if it wasn't for Freedom Theater, like I really don't know what type of person I would be. It taught me respect. It taught me just the greatness of being Black. Um, one seeing like all of the teachers were beautiful Black sisters and brothers. Like we had Johnny Hobbs, Miss Diane, Miss Gail. Um, like just seeing them in action. Johnny Johnny Allen. The fact like he did a film, so seeing the owner of Freedom Theater in a film was amazing to me. It was
Yeah.
like, wow, like everybody was working, everybody was just doing their thing, man. So just see again, like I think it's very important for people to um, see what it is that you want to do
Yeah.
through while watching someone do
Yeah.
it. So again, I saw Johnny Hobbs do a play, and he was teaching us, you know. So it was like, wow, you know, I saw Johnny Hobbs. Um, it just was an amazing experience, and I truly don't think I would be the person I am, where I am, if it wasn't for that experience. Like just going through freedom, just wanting to be the best you can. Even the song,
Yeah.
it's like, here we stand, working for tomorrow, getting the best we can today. So it's like creating today,
Yeah.
you know, um, doing the most you can today. And that stuck with me too. So I try to live empty. You know, every day I'm like, okay, what can I accomplish today? You know.
No, I think that's so awesome. And I've just heard in so many ways of how Freedom Theater touched so many people in the Philadelphia area, but throughout the region, throughout the country, where people would come
Yeah,
through. And I really like what you said about like how important it is to see people doing the thing that you want to do, or even a part of what you want to do. And
right.
I can imagine, and maybe this is just me, seeing people who look like you doing things that you want to do, and as a black
Exactly.
man being able to see other black people doing those things and saying it is possible. I know
Yeah.
I can do it, especially once again before Instagram, before Facebook, right,
Mm-hmm.
where like you don't know fully if it's possible, or the characters that you see were maybe limited at that point. And I guess like I'm wondering, did that expand your belief that as a black man you can be successful, period, or successful as a creative, successful as an actor? Did that
Yeah.
add to that for you?
Definitely, definitely. Just seeing them, like Ricardo Martin was another teacher that inspired me to one create this energy that like I started an acting school, you know,
Nice.
um,
I was gonna
and
get to that, but good.
he had a company that would go to different schools, and we would inspire. We would work with kids, and the kids would actually write the show, and then we would come in as professional actors and perform the shows. But then they would use kids from the school to be a part of the shows, and seeing him do that inspired me to like I started my own entertainment company.
Nice.
Now I have a film company. Now I have a acting school. Um, and the reason why I started the acting school, it wasn't something I honestly wasn't something I dreamt about. Like, oh man, I'm gonna start an acting school. And
Right, right.
it wasn't at all. It was a I was getting a lot of calls um, from people just asking like, how can I get involved in acting and things like that. And then at the time, Freedom Theater was closing down, and it wasn't really nowhere for actors of color to go.
Hmm.
So I kind of saw it as a situation that I can help, you know,
Yeah.
because I was a working actor at the time, and I was putting a lot of people on, you know. So I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna just start a school so that I can help these people do things the right way, and I bring in producers, I bring in directors, actors to talk to the students, um, you know, just so that they can see that one is possible. They see me, you know, doing stuff, being in different films and plays and stuff. So it's and it's great. And a few of the kids actually started their own like dance companies and
Nice.
you know, so it's great to see because then now they believe in themselves and they're helping their community, they're helping their kids,
Yeah.
you know. So it's just great to be able to help them see it, see the vision, and see that it's possible. That's the
Right.
other part.
There's so much about being able to see that it is possible, and in particular, I say like being able to see it's possible for you, and for people who look like you, people who come from the
Mm-hmm.
neighborhood you come from, people who come
Mm-hmm.
from the community or culture or whatever identity you might have. Being able to see that as possible is a huge thing, and
Mm-hmm.
you know, the truth of it is, you know, Nakia, from the time I've known you, you've always been that person that people can come to and like, hey, how do I get into this, or how do I get better? I remember I was that guy like, hey, what do I need to go? Which agency do I need to talk to, or where do I get my next headshot? Like you've always been, and some people, as we know, in any industry, might not want to share because that could be your competition. That could be somebody that you're
Yeah,
putting on that takes business out of your pockets. But
right.
that has never been you. And I'm like, what has
Mm.
allowed you to be so kind and gracious and given to so many people?
I think, well, one, thank you for that. I don't know. I guess I never really. I guess I feel like whatever is for me is going to be for me.
Yeah.
Like my name is already written on it, as well as yours. Like we can both go to the same audition, and it's happened a few times. Like where I went up against someone, it was me and them. I just did what I did, and they did what they did. I end up booking it because it was already written for me. It was already mine.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so so it's like I said earlier, like if we look at the world is like in a full of abundance. Um, every bird wakes up and eats every day. We think that like it's only one thing that and it's not. It's more opportunities for everybody. But I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna do my thing now.
Right,
I'm gonna put it
right,
down.
right, right.
But but again, like I could tell you, I've had people where I've told them different things and they messed it up. You
Mm,
know, so it still didn't. It wasn't nothing that I did.
right.
It just wasn't. It just didn't have their name on it. And I just feel like you know you can. I don't mind. I just don't mind helping. I just really don't. It's just
I
something
look,
my
and
spirit.
I fully believe that like that's also what has allowed a lot of good to come back to you. That's kind
Mm,
of like my mom would always tell me, that look, I'm doing good to other people just because that's who she was and how she
mm-hmm,
believed and how she cared and her faith. But then she would say to me, I might never get that back in return, the goodness that she gives out. But she believed that somehow I would get it, right? Like so she's gonna
mm,
put good in the world, knowing that somehow the good will come back to not even her, but to someone she cares about. And to me
mm.
that's always been profound. And I hear that. Like
Wow.
there's a way that you have just been giving good out to the world and allowing people to understand the craft of acting and being creative and building
Mm-hmm,
people up. And even as you mentioned, Freedom Theater is such so iconic, but with
mm-hmm.
its like leaving the space, there was a void there,
Right.
and
Right.
you feeling like you could fill that on some level. Last thing is that when I mentioned about this talk I've been sharing about, I give myself permission. It's really about encouraging people not to have limits, and I love when you talk
Mm-hmm,
about the abundance mindset. That's because the limits
mm-hmm.
we put is feeling like it's scarcity, right? Like
Right.
like there isn't enough for me. But if
Right.
we could live without limits, with if we could live boldly and say, no, there's an opportunity for me, so many things can happen. It sounds like that's really been happening for you in your journey.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really been a true blessing, man. Just sometimes just when I get that call, it's nothing like getting that call from the agent, man, saying that you book something, you know, and it's just being able to have lived and done that and just being able to like, just I can show that to the youth as well as like the adults and just say, hey, look, it's possible. Like I'm a kid that was extremely shy. I didn't want to talk to nobody. I didn't want to let nobody to call my name in the classroom. I was the kid in the back of the class hiding
Right.
behind the book. Like, please don't call me. And here now, just being on movies and
Yeah.
TV and actually talking, like I'm friends with a lot of these people, man. Just seeing my friends working on TV and And even with them coming back and talking to the students, and um, like last week, I had Anwan Glover who plays Slim Charles on The Wire. He's on We Own the City now, and he came back and talked to my students the other day and just told them about his life and just different, just gave them some nuggets. And but just the fact that I can call these people and call them my friend, all from just saying words,
Yeah.
just saying words that's on a page.
Yeah. I love
It's
that.
amazing, man. It's just amazing.
And what's really cool, I mean, I really, really, appreciate that. And what I love is like, that you have made friends, you've made a community, right? As you've
Mhm.
pursued your craft, as you've continued to have opportunities or even auditions. I've met so many people just from auditioning. I didn't, whether
Yeah.
I booked it or not, those are people that I connected with.
Right.
And,
Right.
I remember you and I, being in the same
That's how
audition
we
room.
connected.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah, or being online, waiting to get into audition, right? Or even I think we might have been like a couple times we were on set together, right? Like just even those
Right.
opportunities, are just priceless because there's a lot of time that you get to just connect with people,
Yeah, true.
along the way. So I'm curious, right? You said, as a working actor at different parts of your life, what are some of those jobs that you've had to take that weren't acting related that you had to just to keep the lights on or to keep money in your pocket? What are some of the roles and jobs you've had to take over the years?
Man, I did all types of work. Um, I did a lot of temp jobs. Um, what else? Yeah, man, I had a few 9 to 5s, but I had every disease known to man when I was when I had a, I had a job, man. Because this was always my focus. I was always focused on acting. Like it was just pay the bills or whatever it was. But if I got an audition, every time I called out, I had a different situation.
Always that
I,
pop up. Man,
I
you
had
have the
COVID.
worst. You had COVID before
I
COVID.
had COVID in the 80s.
I
Like I
just
don't know what this is, but I can't
right,
come in today.
right. I might be contagious.
Yeah, I might be contagious.
Oh man, look,
But
that's
man, I did all types of stuff, man. Like one time I forget what the hell it was called, but you would like paint this. It was like something on the street. Like you
okay.
would like just find like his pipes under the in the street. So you would spray, and then the construction people would come and like either dig the pipe up or whatever. Like I did that for a little bit. I was like, hell, I ain't doing it.
Look,
So man, I did everything, man.
I needed a
Um,
check. But I mean, the reason
everything.
why I said that is because I think it's just so incredible, right? Like you said, your focus was your craft and acting and being a creative, but you had to still support yourself in so many
Yeah.
ways. And I remember in our early days of friendship is when I remember you getting booked on The Wire, and
Hmm.
I don't know, was that like one of the biggest jobs for you at that time?
At that time, yeah. That was my first SAG job.
First SAG.
Um, yeah, first SAG job was The Wire, and it was crazy at the time because at that time, uh, I remember getting my income tax check back, and I had talked to my agent at the time. I was like, I should just join the union. And she's like, well, no, if you join right now, you're gonna be a glorified extra. I'm like, oh wow, I'm gonna do that. So I basically when I got the job, I didn't have money at all, man. I had to beg, borrow to try to get that fee up to just to walk on a set, man. I had to
Yeah.
be a paid up member.
Yeah.
And that was tough. That was tough at that time. But I did what I had to do and I got it and got on set. And then my character ended up being like the first day I got on set, I had a 3-day contract. I didn't know,
Oh
but it
wow.
was for a 3-day contract. And then my character became recurring. So then I came back a few times. So I was just like, wow.
And in just
And literally,
the world of people who don't know, not that you have to give specific numbers, but what does that mean to be a 3-day contract and then a recurring role?
Well, because I originally it was just supposed to be one day, but then they had me for 3 days. But I still only worked one day, but they still paid me for three. But just that the what the regular pay would have been, it was three times that.
Wow.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that was a blessing. Because
Yeah.
again, I literally rode up there in roller skates. I had no nothing.
Right. It's like, I got one
I
shirt.
couldn't even
Let's
afford a
make it work.
car. You know what I'm saying? Had a roller skates with three
Right.
wheels on
Right. One way ticket, but I made it.
it. Yeah, man.
Wow.
So so again, at that particular time, different people, like that's why you got to really watch like who you talk to, and because people will tell you their stories, but that doesn't mean that that's going to be your story
Yeah.
of how you're going to survive and do what you need to do. So like for me, um, that was 2004 when I did The Wire. Um, I literally been working consistently since 2004, like far as like doing like SAG work,
Yeah.
you know. And but I was told if you join SAG, you wouldn't work no more. And again, that was their story. So I tell everybody, live your story. I can tell you mine, but you have to ultimately live your story, you know.
I think that's powerful, right? The thought of, like you said, living your story, and right, and people are skewed for whatever sense, whatever reasons, and but you had to take that opportunity, and that has allowed you to
Mhm.
continuously work. And so, I definitely want to fast forward to hear what are the things that you are working on now. So I know that you have your own, like you said, entertainment company, acting school, film school, and it's I Can Acts, right? Well, as I
Yes,
see in the
there you go.
background.
Yeah,
So
there you
how
go,
did you
right there.
right, that's right. How did you come up with the name? Can you share a little bit more about that, and then we'll get into like what roles you've been playing recently.
Sure. So I can act is like a play on words where it's saying I can act. I can act. And so it's just a positive reinforcement. So when people get into the school, like I said before, like, even if you feel like you did a bad job or whatever, like if you tell yourself that, you'll start working harder on yourself, because you're the only person that you have to impress is really yourself,
Yeah.
you know. So but again, and then it's my name backwards right there. So it's just a play on
Oh,
words,
I love
did
that.
the Oprah thing.
Yeah, nice.
you know. So
Your own Harpo.
yeah, my own Harpo. There you go. So yeah, so this right here has been a blessing, like just being able to help. It's so many people that I've helped just get their feet wet in this industry.
Mm,
You know, like recently I had an 11-year-old, and he booked a voiceover that paid him $8,600. Man, he was 11 years old.
nice.
I've helped people get on film sets. Just recently, one of my students is in LA, and she's working with Brian Hooks. So I worked with Brian Hooks on a project called Jason's Letter a few years ago, and we keep in touch. So when she told me that she auditioned for him, I hit him up and I was like, hey, just letting you know, one of my students auditioned for you. He was like, which one? And I showed him the picture of him and her together. And he was like, oh man, she did a great job. Next thing you know, she booked
Of
it.
course. And people
So
don't
just being able to,
realize how important that is. I mean, not that it always happens that way, but just
mm,
having good connections and somebody putting in a good word
yeah,
for you can go a long way. That's awesome.
so true, man. So just with I Can Acts, just being able to help, and I just started the film company, so we're going to start producing films. I'm doing a monologue contest right now with my students. So whoever wins the contest, they get a film written around them, and they get to star in their own short film.
Oh, that's awesome. That's dope.
Yeah. So I have a PR team that I work with. I partnered up with called PRs with No Egos, and we help whenever the students are doing things. They have a chance to get PR. So we have students that's in the New York Weekly, just highlighting their efforts and their work. And because if nobody, you can be the best actor in the world, if nobody knows
Knows
about
it.
you,
Yep.
you know. So we help with that, and it's their choice. You know, we offer all these different things. All of them don't take advantage of everything, but for the ones that do, it's there. You know, so like we have an audition board. So we post auditions on there. I cast. That's another thing I do. I help cast films too. So I've like a few like right when COVID was like running, like when it was new,
Hmm.
we did a film in West Philly, and all of my students was able to work. It was with Amari Harvey. It's a project called Fells High that's coming out soon. So I was the casting director on that,
Nice.
and so I help bring a lot of people in the door, from background extras to had a couple. I got a couple. One of my students a actual role, so it was great. You know, I'm currently working on the Wonder Years.
Yeah, I saw. I mean,
Yeah,
that's the other part that I'm one. I love what you're doing with I Can Act and how you're supporting so many people and touching so many lives, giving people opportunities. And there's going to be some connections that you and I have. I've done this date night event called I
mm,
Do Redo, or Date Night Redo, and it involves some performance. And I think there's a way that you and I
nice.
can partner and work on
Yeah,
some of that stuff to bring some of these things to life for people. Especially,
that'd be
the
awesome.
pandemic has shut some of that down, but I think there's some ways that we can bring some fun and laughter and enjoyment for couples. So I think that's to come. I think Nakia and I can figure that out. But
Yeah,
also, I
yeah.
think I'm curious about the age ranges because I got a 9 and 11 year old. I'm
Oh
wondering,
yeah, come
like,
on through.
right, what age do you start and how high do you go in terms of your school?
Well, we started at age 7, so they perfect. They can come on through. And
Nice,
yeah, so we started age 7 through adult. So my oldest student is 63, and he
nice.
works all the time. He just came back from Chicago doing a film. He was up in New York doing a industrial, and it's great, man. And again, like I talk to a lot of people, and they say, "Oh, well, I'm too fat, I'm too old, I'm too short." I said, "Well, who told you that?"
Yeah.
I said, "Did casting tell you that?" Oh no, I'm just saying, like when I look at TV, what look, you're looking at the wrong shows, man.
Yeah.
If Danny DeVito can be a lead actor, you can too. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? It
For
don't
what,
matter.
15 seasons now? Right.
Exactly, man. And
Yep.
Danny's an amazing actor, man.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And but again, it just breaks the stereotype of what people think what you should look like in order to be an actor. And the thing is, you get a role as an actor on a TV show to play a regular person. You playing somebody working at a store.
Right.
So like, is everybody that you see at the store buff or skinny or young? They look like they look like us. They look regular, and that's what they look for, characters.
I
So
love that
what character can you feel? You
I
know?
really appreciate that you're sharing that because I remember before once again, this whole thought of I give myself permission is because we have these things that block us that say, like, I don't know if I could do that, or it's not
Mm-hmm.
for me for whatever set of reason. And that was one of the things I had to do. I had to say, no, like, this is for me just like it could be for anybody else. I was
Mm-hmm.
giving myself permission to show up and go on auditions, but there's so many people that don't, right? For whatever, set of reasons. So I'm glad that you really help them to break past that and to just give themselves a shot. So you've been working consistently. You said since 2004, SAG opportunities. Yeah, it is one of the greatest feelings for me to see somebody show up on TV or in a film or on a billboard or anywhere. And you've been doing the Wonder Years, and I still need to catch up on some episodes. But like, what was that like? What has that been like for you? It seems like that's, and correct me if I'm wrong, one of the bigger roles you're playing right now. Um,
Yeah.
how is that? How did you book that, and how has that felt for you?
Man, it's truly been a dream. Honestly, my whole career has been a dream. Because each opportunity has been just amazing. Um, working on Wonder Years, everyone was extremely cool, from the kids to the adults. Dulé, EJ, Milan, who plays my daughter, my wife, Tamika, uh, Saquon. Like everybody on the show is top notch, man. Just cool, down to earth, just really humble people, man. So, I'm just blessed to be a part of it. Saladin Patterson, who wrote the show, produced it. I told him, just the fact that I was able to tell him that I'm a fan, not just because I'm on the show. I love the show. I could sit and watch it over and over,
Nice.
you know, and so I'm just glad to be a part of it. Um, but it was a self-tape audition. Um, the day I did it, I was actually shooting another film. Um, so I just kind of like, okay, I got this deadline. It's due Monday. I was like, all right, it was Sunday. I was like, let me just hurry up through this
Let me get this
tape
done.
in. So I got it in, and I still had to learn like my other lines from my other project I was working on. That Wednesday, I got a call from my agent saying, "Oh, the producers are looking at your tape. Really liked your performance in it." And I was like, "Oh, wow, okay." Then she called me Thursday and said I booked it.
Nice.
And it was just man, it was amazing, man. Um,
How many episodes have you done so far, and does your character continue?
I did about four episodes, and I played his love interest father. So Milan. So whenever she goes home, I'm there. So
Oh,
so whenever they write write her
wow.
to go home,
Yeah,
you'll
it's
see
like
me.
she needs like a whole like half a season home
Right. She
dealing
just needs to
with
come
him.
home. Like she got on the
Right,
street too
come home, baby.
much.
We'll go through all of
Right.
that. They'll bring you to the younger
So
years, the middle years, the whole nine.
right. Like let Dean come over to our house.
Right.
Yep. So
That's awesome, man.
yeah, man.
And I'm happy for you. I'm happy for that level of the success. And once again, I think going back to what we talked about with Freedom Theater, being able to see somebody, I can imagine that there's people who say like, I know Nakia. I just saw him the other day. I just saw him. Well, we was just catching up, or he was just at the store, or he
uh,
was in class, and now I'm seeing him like on ABC and doing on the Wonder Years, right? Like
right.
that's has to be a great feeling to empower people that way. So there's a couple of things I like to ask people right before we end. Uh, one of the questions is, if you could work with anybody, and you've had some opportunity to work with some great people so far, but anybody, who would you want to work with?
Hmm. Um, honestly, I would love to work with Denzel, uh, Will Smith. I had a chance to work with Idris Elba, like I was his dialect coach in a project, but I would love to work with him.
Nice.
Um, honestly, man, I just enjoy working, but those guys I would love to just be able to learn from and just to be in the same vicinity and just go back and forth with lines. Like I had a beautiful chance of working with Felicia Rashad, man. That was a dream come true. I had a chance to tell her that the reason why I'm an actor now is because of the Cosby Show.
I love it.
But I had a chance, literally, man. It was crazy because we had lines. It was a show called Do No Harm,
Okay.
and I played a cop, and she was the she was the boss of this doctor's office or whatever. And man, the whole time I'm saying my lines, I'm looking at how far our feet is from each other. I'm like, yo, I'm in front of
Yes.
Felicia Rashad, yo.
Yes.
So it was just like I said, man, this craft, this art has taken me so many places, man, that it's places that I could never imagine. Like I had a chance to sit down with Les Brown, you
Mm.
know, sat in his room because of a video that we did. That was amazing. Um, yeah, man, it's just crazy how like my life has been just being able to, even just share that,
Yeah.
share that experience
Yeah.
with people,
And I think that's
So,
that's the beauty of it, right? Where you're able to say like, yeah, there's been some challenges. Yeah, there's been some difficult moments. But when I look at the full picture, as I often tell
hmm
my clients, when I zoom out and look at
hmm
the full like trajectory, it's
hmm
awesome and it's amazing, and I can hear that in your voice. And yeah, to when you mentioned Felicia Rashad, very similar. I've had career aspirations because of the Cosby Show. One aspect was Dr. Alvin Poussaint. He was one of the consultants. He was a therapist that helped with the show and consulted based off of his practice. And
wow.
I've had opportunities to consult in other places, like I have to consult with, whether it be a media company or Nickelodeon or some other places. Of just helping
hmm
them think through some things from the therapeutic mental health aspect. And to me, that's like that's it. That's the intersection of my world of being able to inform what are some of the things that we see and hear, even some of the scripts that people will pay attention to. Somebody might have consulted. When you mentioned the dialect coach, people don't
Right.
realize there's so many different roles and options and opportunities in the whole world of
Yeah.
entertainment and being a creative. So
So
I
true.
I
So
love
true.
hearing that. Last two questions. What does mental wellness mean to you?
Mental wellness means uh like just having peace and just having the confidence to just be who you are, you know. Yeah, I think that's it for me. That's what I think.
Yeah, awesome.
Mhm.
And if you could give mental wellness advice to your younger self as early as yesterday or any time in the past, what would you say?
I would say for mental wellness, just know that you're enough. Just know that you're okay, and just be, work towards. Because it's easy to say just be in that, but it's you work at it every day.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, just like I said, just knowing that you're enough.
Yeah, I think that's so powerful because so many times we don't think we're enough, and once again, we have these limiting thoughts and these
hmm
ways that we, have these barriers. And whether I'm working with journalists or a media company or corporate environment or teenagers or whomever, like being able to help people think through that they can give themselves permission to go out and do these amazing things. It has been powerful for me. Hearing your story, knowing parts of it, but hearing more of it is just so powerful. And I'm so happy for you. And I
Thanks.
wish you continuous success and blessings and impact as you go out and do all these great things. And Nakia, is great having you a part of Leapcast today as we've been having this conversation. And as we close out, I don't know if there's any last things that you want to say, but I do appreciate you joining me today.
Thank you, good brother. First, I just want to say, just I'm grateful for you, just for our friendship, just to be able to reconnect with you in this way. And what you're doing is great, man. Just keeping people inspired, and this is a great platform, man. Yeah, that's all I would say. I mean, like for the people that's out there, I would just say, just live empty. Whatever dream or whatever um, thing, whatever it is that you want to do, don't talk yourself out of it. Just go and do it. I mean, long as it's positive, now,
Right.
nothing crazy.
Right.
But but like if it's a book idea that you want to do, we live in an age now where everything is at the tip of our fingers, man. You can go online and figure it out how to do it, or you can reach out to people and ask them if they don't give you, uh, if they don't tell you what you need to do. There's always someone else that will, or a book that you can do get, you know. But definitely live your life. If it's acting you want to try, go out for go try it. Um, Singing or whatever it is, whatever dream you have, whatever came to you. Because again, a lot of these ideas only come to you.
Hmm.
Like you creating this podcast right now. This is great, but it came to you.
Yeah.
You know, so I would just say just live in.
I love it, man. Live empty. I think that's a great. That might be your bestseller. I love it, and it is inspiring. Your story is inspiring, and
Thank you.
once again, everyone, my encouragement is check out I Can Axe, check out Nakia Dillard and all the work that he's doing. Check out the Wonder Years. Hopefully, they'll write in more opportunities for for her to come home.
Yeah,
And
Felicia's.
look,
Yeah,
man, I appreciate this, and I think there's definitely some ways that you and I can work together, especially to impact and help people going forward. So, thanks again for joining me.
Thank you so much, man, for having me, man. I really appreciate you.
Wow, what an incredible ride we just went on with another great member of the Leapcast community. I appreciate you listening and hope you got some tangible value from the episode. Please let us know what you think by leaving a comment, rating, and review. As always, please don't forget to subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. This is Dr. George James, and I'll see you next time.